V Premium was a format, I have to say, do I have to say is a format that was officially supported in all Bushiroad tournament levels for a very long time, which basically, if you're new to the game, the V era of Vanguard happened from 2018 to 2020-21, which was basically the first reboot that Vanguard ever had, and by quite a few people, including myself, that have been around for a long time and that also know what the situation was like back in the day, is considered to be a bit of maybe a misstep in judgment on the part of Bushiroad in terms of the direction of the game. And a lot of people say that now with D era we're in much better times. But V Premium was a format that was beloved by many because it allowed a lot of people to re-experience the old Vanguard units from a more like modern perspective, and it introduced some, you know, more defensive cards and stuff like that. But for the people like me that experienced it as it came out and how it developed, it definitely felt like they took out all the cool, juicy stuff from Vanguard and just toned it down to one and made it restart from nothing, and then did really crazy power creep that nearly killed the game, I would say, in a lot of different places. And overall, a lot of us don't really feel too great about it, despite the fact that at the very end, it was very fun, thanks to Clan Collection. So in today's video, I want to talk a little about V in general, why it ended, how it ended, why it sort of had to eventually get pulled out of the spotlight, and of course, give you context. So the context itself is pretty straightforward. Basically, they announced the next BCS circuit, Bushiroad Championship Series 24-25, which leads into the next Worlds. And usually, at a regional qualifier, you would get an invite for each of the different formats. But this time, for Vanguard, it's just standard and premium. And under the side events tab, you have a standard side event, and then underneath a V Premium tournament. Here, for just participating, you get yourself a Neo Nectar PG. If you get top 8, you get the Alt Heart, Hero Chronicle PG, and if you win, you get this Alt Mile prize card from way back when. So basically, this is where they kind of said, all right, V is no longer going to be part of BCS. It's no longer going to be at Worlds anymore. Vanguard is back to just 2 formats like it was basically during the entire V era, just without the V in it. So a lot of people, you know, I think overall had a pretty positive reaction to this, because it felt like the writing was on the wall for V Premium to be gone as a main format. And the reason why is that in Japan, they had this thing called the VMC, basically from 2019 onwards, I believe, where basically it was a single player tournament that you could qualify to from shops. And then you would basically, if you won, you'd get this cool, crazy Overlord winners card. Top 8 would get this Maka. For entering, you get a PG. Looks kind of similar. And you get invites to the bigger VMC and like playmats, and like the whole thing was streamed. It was pretty hype. And then when D era started, so you see here the Overdress logo, so this was in 2022, they still did the VMC, still with a stream and everything, but they did it for both standard and V Premium. But you can see here the pricing for VMC. This is like, you know, if you top one of the invite tournaments, you get the invite. And then you get, for top cutting, you get this Verena. For entering, you get this Trickstar. And then for V Premium, you'd get, you know, the stuff that you're basically seeing now for the side event. And then if you made it to the finals, you'd get the Alt Mile prize card for V and the Verena for standard, right? And then you get this playmat, a custom t-shirt, all this kind of cool stuff. Playmat as well, just for showing up to the finals that you qualified for. So it was pretty cool. But this was the last V tournament that Japan ever had in 2022, 2 years ago. So for a lot of people, basically looking at that and comparing between how Japan did it and how English side does it, the English side actually allowed you to enjoy V for a very long time, because at least in, you know, in terms of V support, the last Clan Collection came out in the summer of 2022. So technically in Japan, that dropped and gave new V cards, with there being no V tournaments outside of just shop tournaments. And I guess like tri-regulation, essentially, that's like a once per year tournament at the Daibangasai Vanguard Festival. And so in English, you still had Worlds basically for 2 years for V, despite, you know, Overdress being out. There was BRO for V as well, and V was overall quite well supported competitively. And a lot of people that especially, you know, hate the OT felt pretty good about playing in it because it's like, well, I don't have to worry about the OT in this format, right? So, but the problem was that, as I already mentioned, 2022 summer was the last product release for V outside of promos. So from that perspective already, them not doing more product was kind of obvious that V was going to end. Why did they not do more product though, is what a lot of people were asking. It's like, well, just release one, right? Everyone loves Clan Collection. Well, it was pretty clear that they weren't selling well enough for them to do more. At the end of the day, card games are a business and they have to make product that sells, otherwise the shops will drop the game, and then if shops don't carry the game, there's no tournaments, there's no community, the game dies. The other problem was that D was pretty young still and starting to pick up pace, and I think from the perspective again of a company trying to do a business, there was also the idea that if you release too much product in a year that's not related to the main game you're trying to advertise, it kind of clashes, and then the players don't know, right? Because there's Overlord in Standard, and there's Overlord in this other format, and there's Overlord in the packaging, so which one can I use? I think the same issue kind of happened with like the premium like deck sets, where people were like, this is a deck set and it has strides in it, can I use this in Standard? It's like, no, but it's a deck set that has strides in it. But I'm like, I get it, but it's not the same, right? You understand where that confusion comes from. I sometimes get DMs from people, it's like, there's the Night Rose premium deck set and the normal deck set, so is it for premium or is it for Standard? I'm like, that one's for Standard. The premium refers to the premium items inside of it that are not for the premium format, right? It's like that kind of like confusion keeps coming up, and I think that probably for them, especially at the beginning of Overdress, they probably wanted to avoid that. So like releasing premium product is okay because, you know, there weren't any strides in Standard yet and all that kind of stuff, so it felt kind of unrelated. But with V, it was a bit difficult, I think, probably to tell apart for people that that only know maybe Vanguard on the surface levels, that I think that kind of, you know, had those issues. I think overall English definitely took care of V much nicer, and overall, like even this, like what they're doing now, to be honest, they're not just completely killing V, they're still doing a whole tournament for it at the BCS, as each BCS will have this. They're still finishing up all the prize cards that, you know, English didn't get, which is very nice as well, so making sure that the card pool still matches, even if these are just reprints. And, you know, overall, instead of just getting rid of it, they're still doing something for it, right? And maybe they'll still do this in the next BCS next year too. I do kind of doubt it. I do think this is kind of like the send-off tournament in a way, but I do think that it's a nice thing that kind of shows that Bushiroad International did care about its, you know, the V player base a lot more, and it was kind of maybe waiting for the V players to finally migrate to one of the two main supported formats instead. I think if you're a premium player, you don't really have anything to fear though. Premium is kind of like the mainstay Eternal format. I do think that I'm a little bit critical about Premium not having Energy Crest. I think that it's a very harmless mechanic to put into Premium. If anything, you should take out the harmful mechanic of OT from Premium and put in the harmless mechanic of Energy into Premium, and it would suddenly, like, even if you don't print new Premium product, if you just suddenly go January 1st, 2025, we now allow Energy Generator in Premium, you get it just by writing a grade 1 from your hand. That's literally, I think that would turn, that would make Premium so much more exciting. Such a different beast in general. And I personally feel like that would be a very interesting new direction to take the Eternal format. And that way you can still continue giving it competitive support. And I do wish that in Japan, they would do more of that too, because Japan, dude, last year we had 2 premium tournaments outside of Daivangasai, you know, that was just exclusively premium. And they had a lot of players sign up for them too, but, you know, and they gave an invite as well for the nationals that were played in standard format. But like, why not do more of those? For some reason, Japan is really afraid of doing premium tournaments for some reason. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I would like to hear your thoughts though. What were your favorite memories with V in general? You know, for me, I do talk quite negatively about it, but at the end of the day, V gave us some nice things. I liked Vanguard EX a lot. I also, as bumpy as the final last bits of V were, they did bring in the more fun decks for me. I did enjoy Gavriel at her tier 0. I did also quite enjoy a lot of the Clan Collection decks. And honestly, before I moved to Japan, I mean, the last Springfest I played in before moving was actually in V and Premium. I actually didn't play Standard because I knew that I would not be playing those 2 formats when I'm in Japan. And I had a really good time with V. I remember doing really, really well with Night Rose. And overall, like some of the decks in V, especially like Night Rose and Luard after the restriction, were very fun to pilot. So for that reason alone, I think they did manage to hit some good beats, and a lot of people in some particular regions especially really liked V. So I hope that they are enjoying themselves with the current 2 main formats, or maybe they went to other card games too, and that's also good. As long as we're all having fun playing card games, it's always a good time. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And of course, if you want to give some extra support to the channel, become a YouTube channel member. It helps a lot. But with that, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.